Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. Ready? This will more than cover these checks, which total $337. Please deposit the difference in my account. As you know, Mr. Roger Thompson and I formed a partnership and organized a retail store for electric appliance at 1156 East 52nd Street in Trenton. Even though we combined our financial resources in this venture, my partner and I found ourselves short of money during the stages organizing of our business. Both my partner and I realized that the return of checks because of insufficient funds could damage our credit rating. As a result of the severe winter we have just been through, you may now have to make some badly needed repairs on your home. You should protect your home investment by taking care of this work immediately. Perhaps you contemplate doing something to improve your home, painting, roofing, and redecorating, to mention a few. You probably wish to plan these jobs without further delay before the summer's rush sets in. If you need $300, $500, or even more for repairs or remodeling, our loan department, which is always ready to serve you, will be glad to make arrangements for a loan. Our banking hours are from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. When you obtain checks from our bank in the near future, you will see a series of strange-looking numbers and circular symbols printed on the bottom of each check. These markings represent codes for your account number and bank's number. The code is printed in a magnetic ink. What is the purpose of this? The magnetic code is a common mark to protect checks. This is a big step toward applying a fully automated check handling system. These coded checks will be available in various sizes and forms, and you can obtain them in any quantity you wish. If you have any questions, just call Mr. Lane or visit either one of our offices. Mr. R.B. Miller, about whom you inquired in your letter of March 2002, moved away from our city a few weeks ago. When Mr. Miller was with us, he handled his account properly, although the balances in his account were rather modest. Our records show that Mr. Miller was employed with a local merchandising firm. Circumstances within that company, however, necessitated a transfer of several departments to their main plant in Wilmington, and Mr. Miller was let go. All right, let's read a little more from our Democratic National Convention article. Ready? 2012, Charlotte, Time Warner Cable Arena, now Spectrum Center, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. This was the first time we provided CART for caucuses. We reported the Congressional Black Caucus and Women's Caucus, among others. Our captions appeared on televisions through the halls and at the end of the aisles of delegate seats. The internet operated everywhere and smartphones didn't ever fail. Two support staff did the job. It took maybe a day to get the encoders hooked up. We finally had the process working smoothly. The Foo Fighters were the headliner on nomination night. They shared our office space. That's as close to any celebrities as we ever got. The small city of Charlotte handled security well, but they closed down the entire city. The South in August produced a fantastic thunderstorm one day while we waited in the security line. We didn't have umbrellas and were drenched to the bone by the time we got out. Our feet were tired. We left Charlotte proclaiming we were officially retired unless a woman was nominated. All right, let's get back to some jury charge practice. Ready? A parolee can be returned to prison to finish out the original sentence. A state governor or the President of the United States can alter a convict's clemency when there is clearly an injustice. The governor or the president can give clemency in any case, but in reality, clemency is rarely guaranteed. Clemency usually means a pardon or commutation of sentence or a reprieve. A pardon ends his or her punishment and erases the conviction from the person's record. A plea of no contest has the same general effect as pleading guilty. A famous public official once entered the plea of nolo contundere. At the arraignment, the judge will also inform you of some rights, including the right to have an attorney and to have one appointed for you. The judge will also set the amount of bail. If bail was set earlier, but you feel it is too high, you can ask the judge to reduce it at this time or to release you on your own recognizance. A person must be arraigned soon after. How soon depends on where and when the person was arrested. In any event, a person must be arraigned promptly, usually no more than 48 or 72 hours after his or her arrest, if the person is not released on bail. If the person pleads guilty at his or her arraignment, the judge may impose sentence at that time. Otherwise, the judge will set a date for sentencing and send his or her file to the probation department. From there, a probation officer will review the case, the person's criminal record, and the person's current situation, and make a recommendation to the judge regarding appropriate punishment. The person may be asked to post bail. Bail is the money he or she posts with the court. All right, a little literary practice. Ready? We urge you to consider adding to your own and your family's personal security by buying United States savings bonds, one of the safest investments you can make. The Stanford Trust Company, the First National Bank of Westport, and the National Bank of Norwalk have combined their resources, facilities, and experience under a new name, the Fairfield Trust Company. Many advantages will be yours as a result of this merger. The merger creates a banking organization that is better able in every way to serve the community. You will enjoy the same services, Mr. Green, but these services will be greatly expanded with resources of more than $110 million. The Fairfield Trust Company will play an increasingly important part in promoting Fairfield's economic progress. There are 14 branches of the Fairfield Trust Company in the county. The branch that you will use is located at 1461 Railroad Avenue, Stanford. As a depositor of the former Stanford Trust Company, you will be glad to know that the friendly character of that organization has not changed because of the merger. You will recognize all the employees who have taken care of your needs in the past. Next week, the National States Bank Paris branch moves to new enlarged quarters in the heart of the business district. In its new quarters, it will be able to provide our customers with additional comfort and convenience as they transact their business. For the past 40 years, except for the interruption caused by the war, our organization has had an office in Paris. To many Americans who have been to Europe, it has been a familiar place. Our Paris branch offers to commercial travelers and tourists the combination of worldwide banking facilities and friendly service that makes our overseas service unique. All right, let's get back to our Democratic National Convention adventures. Ready? (2016) Philadelphia, Wells Fargo Center, Pennsylvania Convention Center, Hillary Clinton, Tim Kaine. Retirement didn't last long. How could we refuse this chance to see history in the making? A woman was going to be nominated. This convention was different in every way. Once the convention got underway, we only had one support staff, and it was his first convention. That is how easy things became. Teleprompter feed, check. Audio sync, finally. Encoder set up. 10 minutes to test, and we were ready. We had gotten to the point where we took 1-hour turns. Another first for us was lodging in a delegate hotel, a great experience that allowed us to see the delegate process behind the scenes. Philly was recorded as the most accessible convention to date. The Sanders and Clinton camps had to see eye to eye, and eventually they did. The Rules Committee meeting, normally 30 minutes long, lasted a few hours. The Credentials Committee began at 9 a.m. and ran until 9 p.m. It was reported by only one reporter. She went in calm and cool and came out slightly frazzled. This was the first convention with Uber. They set up an air-conditioned tent with the confines of the 2-mile-long security perimeter. We thought it would be great to avoid the long walk out of the security area each night. After learning there was a 2-hour wait for an Uber, along with surge pricing, we decided to hoof it outside the security perimeter to catch a cab each night. This was the first convention in which nearly 100% of the caucus meetings had CART via projected screen. The caucus meetings were held a rather long distance from the convention site, with tight timelines between the end of caucus meetings and the gaveling in of the convention. This precluded the captioners from also being the CART providers, so CART providers from 3 separate states were brought in to cover caucus meetings. Convention captioning is not for the faint of heart. We were 2 exhilarated, energized, occasionally awestruck reporters working in tandem to produce a product everybody used every day. We didn't always get along during a week's worth of stressful moments. Like a long-time married couple, we had it out and got back on task quickly. No apology necessary. While we proclaimed retirement again this year, we saw an email that said, "See you in 2020." So our job may not be up for grabs yet. That sounds definitely like quite the adventure. That article was written by Susan Simonelli, Ciminelli, and she is an RPR, a freelancer based in Alexandria, Virginia. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? All right, this is just some legal, I'll call it a legal literary. Ready? Some suits are settled before the complaint is even filed. Some are settled after the complaint is filed, but before the trial begins. Some are settled during the trial. Some are settled after the trial while the case is on appeal to a higher court. Since no matter how strongly justice appears to be on your side, you are always taking a chance if you sue. You might lose the case before a trial begins. Any number of motions may be made by either side. 3 of the more frequent and important pretrial motions are motions for summary judgment, motions for judgment on the pleading, and motions to exclude evidence at the trial. A motion for summary judgment is an attempt by one side to have the case decided by the judge before the trial. The complaint and answer constitute the pleadings. If the plaintiff is entitled to recover damages from the defendant, the attorney would file a motion for judgment on the pleadings. When the attorney is finished presenting all the evidence to prove the case, he or she rests the case in chief. The defendant's attorney now proceeds with the defendant's case in chief and calls witnesses for the defense. Just as the defendant's attorney has the right to cross-examine your witness, the plaintiff's attorney can cross-examine each defense witness. When the defendant's attorney rests the case, the plaintiff's attorney has the opportunity to present additional evidence that contradicts or explains the evidence presented by the defendant's attorney. In other words, the attorney can present a rebuttal. A request for a directed verdict is a request that the judge take the case out of the jury's hands. This request is made when the evidence is such that no reasonable person could dispute the plaintiff's right to recover damages. The judge will grant this motion only if there is no doubt as to how the jury will decide. Now that both sides have rested their cases, each attorney is allowed to make a summation. The summation is also called the closing argument. The plaintiff's attorney gets the last word because the burden of proving the case is on the plaintiff's attorney. And that will conclude our literary and jury charge practice.